Продовжуємо робочий день у прес-центрі Українського кризового медіа-центру.
We continue our working day. Now the floor is given to Ministry of Defense of Ukraine spokesman on ATO-related issues, Colonel Oleksandr Motuzyanyk, with information about ATO area events during the last 24 hours. Welcome on stage. Good afternoon, everyone. Now the information about the main events that happened in the ATO zone. Lugansk sector. In Stanitsa Luganska, Russian occupation forces opened fire with the use of small arms 3 times, right after midnight during the day and late in the evening. The Novaidarsky region, there the militants launched 3 mines in Krymska and conducted short-term armed provocation in Lobacheva, that is on the left bank of Severodonetsk River. In Katerinovka, that is near Popasna, at about 7 p.m., the enemy used heavy weapons, launching 15 mines at Ukrainian positions. On the whole, during the last 24 hours in the Lugansk sector, there were 8 enemy shellings. The Donetsk sector, the situation deteriorated. The enemy used heavy weapons in the region of Avdiivka, and during the last 24 hours the enemy launched about 50 mines. Enemy shellings lasted here throughout 12 hours. And in Svetlodarsk Bulge and northern suburbs of Gorlovka and in the region of the Donetsk airport, shellings were not sporadic. They constantly shelled Ukrainian positions. On average, each instance of ceasefire violations lasted starting 30 minutes up to 1 hour, and the enemy used small arms. On the whole, during the last 24 hours in the Donetsk sector, there were 27 enemy shellings, including 6 with the use of mortars. The Mariupol sector, the situation deteriorated compared with the first day of introduction of the latest ceasefire. Enemy shellings were recorded along the front line, and they started shelling right after midnight in Gnutovo, Vodyane and Shirokine. That is to the south of the sector. These were short, small arms firing, and the occupants delivered fire with the use of small arms against ATO forces till 6 p.m. Then they started to use heavy weapons. These are mortars, artillery, and Russian occupation forces fired at Ukrainian positions near Vodyane. In the region of Dokuchaevsk, the enemy used mortars in the morning, launching 30 mines at our positions near Novotroitske and neighboring Berezove. And for the second time, enemy artillery and mortar shelling happened late in the evening. In Novotroitske yesterday, during the day, enemy sniper activity was recorded. Mariinsky region, enemy started battle activity in the afternoon and launched grenade launch used grenade launches near Mariinka, and the shelling continued until sunset. And after 7 p.m. the militants delivered short-term mortar shelling in Mariinka and Krasnogorovka, and some shells fell in residential quarters of Mariinka, and 38-year-old man was wounded. He was hospitalized and provided with medical help. On the whole, during the last 24 hours in the Mariupol sector, there was 31 enemy shelling, including 6 with the use of heavy weapons. During the last 24 hours, in the result of the military actions, no Ukrainian serviceman was killed, but 5 servicemen were wounded. SBU officers detained in Zaporizhia a militant from so-called 5th Brigade of Russian occupation forces. It was identified that he came here to get treatment against TB because it is too costly to be treated in occupied territory. 21-year-old man joined the militants in 2014 He took active part in military actions in the Baltseva battle, and also he was suspected in committing heavy crimes. Now the video of this operation of detention. Ukrainian law enforcers confiscate ammunition and weapons. At checkpoint in Slavyansk region of the Donetsk Oblast, police officers confiscated 2 grenades RGD-5 and grenade launcher shell VOG-17 filled with plastide. Police officers stopped a taxi that was going from the side of Bakhmut, and they found in the rucksack of the passenger this prohibited freight. In Mykolaiv, border guards, together with police officers, found ammunition in the Chekivsky region. Border guard officers, together with police officers, carried out search in the place of residence of the suspect. They confiscated 500 cartridges, 4 grenades of different modifications, smoke blocks, signal mines, and knife and magazines to weapons. So SBU officers also found some ammunition in the ATO zone. 2 anti-personnel mine Perman 2 of Soviet production were found in Troitsky village of Popasnensky region of Lugansk Oblast. According to Ottawa Convention, these mines are prohibited, and Russia rejected signing of this document. And in the region of Krasnogorivka town, Mariinsky region of Donetsk Oblast, operative officers of SBU seized a grenade RGO with a detonator. According to experts, it was produced in Russia in 1995. In Donetsk Oblast, court released from criminal responsibility 1 more participant of SBU program that is called They Wait For You Back Home. Law enforcers identified that the resident of Limansk region of Donetchina, with the start of military actions in the east, went to St. Petersburg. Under influence of Russian propaganda, he decided to help the militants in Donbass. He came to occupied territories of Ukraine and was involved in delivery of so-called humanitarian assistance from Russia and distributed it among the militants. He saw chaos and lawlessness and real Russian military presence in Donbass. He returned to controlled territories of Ukraine and informed voluntarily law enforcers about circumstances of his involvement in illegal armed group. Do you have questions? If there are no, thank you. Thank you. Traditionally, next briefing about ATO zone is at 12:30 tomorrow.